I am here today with Feverslip. Feverslip is a no-nonsense, bare-bones hard rock band based in the New England area. They have gained a loyal following in the area as Liv N Brilliant over a number of years, but they just recently changed the band name to Feverslip. We're going to talk about that. And the band has a couple of new singles out, Tombstone and Mercy Meal. And we will find out what they have in store for us as far as an EP or a full-length record. Hey, guys, how is everybody?
Great.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Very cool. Well, let me tell everybody you guys your names. I have Sam Vlasic on vocals. I have Liv LaRusso on guitar and Jordan Brilliant on guitars as well. And then I have Brad Hartwick on bass and Harrison Foti on drums. Fantastic. And again, I appreciate you guys being here, man.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you. No, this is great.
No problem. This is a pleasure, man. I gotta start with the obvious. Why the band name change? You Liv N Brilliant for a number of years, really gained a following. I love the name Feverslip. How did that all come about?
I mean, when you really look at in the very beginning, Olivia and I were the ones who came together, and we met at a place called Bentley Saloon at an open mic. And she was one of the first people I met here in Maine. So I was like, hey, another guitar player that's in the same mind, that I am. And so we came together and we formed a band called Liv N Brilliant. And just through the course of time, we kind of shuffled some things around, kind of changed maybe like a direction or so. And then we just didn't really feel like it like described us as much as it did, because we weren't at the center of it as much as we were in the beginning. We got a singer and we got the rhythm and bass. And so it just kind of felt time to just change the name. And we wanted something that was a lot punchier, a lot less, confusing to people. So
because this guy was having to spell it out on stage.
Yeah. There was a lot of people who would see it as like a Living Brilliant or something else, or they would think it was like a folk rock thing just based on the name, and that's not what we were about. So
yeah, and I love the name. It's got a certain ring to it for sure. And I'm listening to the music, and I've heard the Liv N Brilliant stuff from, we've been in contact for a while now, known that stuff, but now I'm listening to you as Feverslip, and there's a dynamic going on here that didn't feel that way before. How has the band morale and the attitude changed with the name change?
I mean,
send it to the newbies.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think having Harry and Brad come in, it really just kind of breathed just a whole new life, because Sam came in and he kind of definitely changed a lot of the dynamics that we had. And then having them come in, we got really lucky. We got really lucky with Harry and Brad, because they knew Sam already previously, and it just kind of created a brand new environment. And
yeah, it's intense, man. It's I love what you're doing for sure. Nobody was against the name change.
Well, I think originally too, that when we first started having the idea of going back out and playing after Corona and like joining the band, that we wanted to change it then, but none of us could agree on anything. And now here we are a whole year later going, okay, I guess it's time, rip the band-aid off. Let's do it now or never.
Cool. I gotta ask, what are some of the rejected names? Maybe what did you guys come up with before you came up with Feverslip?
Oh, the Big Stink. That was my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like there was the Dirty Kicks. There was another series. There was like Saints of Sundown was another one that we thought of. There was a bunch. I think it was kind of funny because I think we all just kind of resorted to throwing joke names out there, which is where the Big Stink came from. So, it was really just at a point of desperation where we were all sick of thinking about it, because you look around and then you see like a stop sign, and then you're like, okay, that's a cool name. So we all just got sick of the whole process of thinking of it, and
You finally just pick one that everyone's like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah. After the 1,000th name, it's like, okay, just got to settle on something, or else the process is never going to end, and we're going to be living brilliant forever. That would be unfortunate.
Yeah, Feverslip is cool. I do like it. It's definitely got a ring to it. Will you reissue? Will you rebrand the older material that was, known as Liv N Brilliant? Is that going to get re-recorded possibly, or just rebranded with the new name?
No.
Yeah. We're
hey.
That works. That works.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that we're definitely in the process of making those songs our own, and we're kind of considering all options of, do we re-release them? Do we write songs that are similar to them? So it's still kind of up in the air as to what we want to do with that kind of stuff.
Salvage what we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And we want to hear new music anyway, right? So, you don't have to rebrand what you got. Just make new stuff, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of that, what is the writing process for you guys? Are you all writers? Is there a collaborative effort, or do you have a main songwriter that brings in the bulk of the material?
So Liv basically shows up with something and we do what she says.
That's a good plan. I've stayed married for 31 years that way.
Yeah. I would say that it kind of varies from song to song. For me, I'm such a writer at heart. Sometimes it'll start with a riff that I have, or it'll start with the riff that she has. And then we'll kind of do our homework before practice. And then so that way, when we show up to practice, there's a number of somewhat established riffs that we can already start working on. That way we all don't show up and kind of sift through riffs and waste time while we're together. We all agree on beforehand what we want to do. So it's kind of just born out of a riff. Sometimes Sam will bring a whole song in. Sometimes,
I play guitar.
Yeah. So that's always fun.
So he says.
Yeah.
But I feel like on our end too, it's like slightly different because we joined while new stuff was being creative. So we kind of like tied up the loose ends on a lot of material that was like in the works and half not completed. So it was kind of like finish that up, and then it's now become more of like pick new ideas, and like Jordan said, riffs here and there, or Sam will come in with something, and then Liv will come in with her nonsense, and then we go from there.
Yeah, and that's, I love to hear that, because it's everybody's playing a part, and that's a cool thing. You guys can all feel like you have a part in the music process, and that's great. I have to tell you, last time I had Liv and Jordan on, got great response. You guys have a following there. It's a loyal following. I also had some comments about Sam and Red Sky Mary.
Yes.
Loyal following with that band.
No idea.
Pretty awesome country band.
There were people that were sad to see that band go, but so happy to see Sam involved with Liv N Brilliant, which was at the time. Are you guys comfortable with the comparisons? Obviously, Sam's a singer. You're going to have that sound. It's going to sound a little bit like that. You guys are similar in style. Are you guys comfortable with the comparisons to the Red Sky Mary material?
Well, it's definitely a better looking band, this band.
I will agree with that.
I mean, my voice is my voice, so people dig it. That's awesome. And we're all in the same mindset that we just like rock. We just like playing loud and heavy. So, I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. The voice is amazing. And it's a nice thing to have you back doing what you do in this forum, for sure. Because I mean, this new material, especially, I put Tombstone on, and I think it's the second track. on the EP, if I'm not mistaken. And it was hard to go past. I have to listen to that again. So I mean, it hits you, and it's really great stuff. Do you make any effort to separate yourself from a certain style, or the Red Sky Married material or anything like that? Or is there something that you do to make it Feverslip?
You add 4 different people.
That always works.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone kind of has their own. I mean, regardless of what band you're in, everyone kind of has their own flavor they like to contribute. So there's definitely a lot of different flavors going on. So I do think it does sound different in that regard. So you got just a nice different icing on the cake.
Yeah, I think a lot of people too, like, came to see this band as pretty interesting, and they were excited to see us because Harrison and Brad's old band used to play with Red Sky Mary a lot, so a lot of people knew those 2 bands. And I think when they saw Sam come in and Harry and Brad come in, they were like, oh, no way, these 2 bands we used to saw are in this one band, let's check them out and see what their sounds like. And so it was pretty cool to see those fans carry over a little bit.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Sorry. The personalities, I think, amongst the 5 of us too gel pretty well as well, and I think that you can hear that in the music as well. So I think that's also an important thing to say.
Yeah, and that always shines through. I think when you have a good band dynamic, great chemistry together, it comes through. If you're having fun, you gotta have fun.
Right.
People can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell for sure. When there's tension in the band, the music suffers a little, I think.
Absolutely.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, for sure. And the mindset suffers too. Brad and Harrison, you mentioned that old band. Was that Victim of Circumstance?
You would be correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Now you guys are in another band as well. River Sang Wild, right?
You are correct again. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a totally different kind of vibe too. Do you bring any of that flavor in to the Feverslip stuff when you play?
I mean, I look at it as just in whatever group you're playing in, even if it's just like, oh, you hop up on stage with like an open mic of a bunch of random people, that you're just going to play how you'd like to play regardless. That it's not always like, oh, try to fit in or anything else. It's just kind of like, oh, play what I would like to hear. And, it is different songwriting, absolutely. But I feel it's just kind of like the same mentality going into it. So whatever's produced might sound different, but it's just kind of the same mindset of just playing what I'd like to play.
Okay. Do you guys write at all in that band? Is it a different kind of thing for you?
It's slightly different because it's a 3-piece, so it's a little more just kind of like super cohesive, where instead of like bring like, oh, an idea from outside, work on it a little bit, then bring it to the group, it's kind of like, oh, hey, Harry, lay down something, and then voila, 30 minutes later there's kind of a rough idea or something like that.
It's cool too, because it's like that's a totally different dynamic as well, just because that's a trio, and then we're a 5-piece. And I think what's cool about that is like Danny is the other member of River Sang Wild, and then obviously you have Sam, Liv, and Jordan, the other 3 in Feverslip. So you kind of have 3 extra minds working on the same goal, like the same music that you're trying to do as well. So it's very interesting seeing what it is, because I agree with Brad's statement where your personal playing, however you want to play, that's what you always bring to the table, no matter what project you're in or whatever. But it's kind of cool seeing how different the dynamic is. Like, I feel like it's a totally different band being in Feverslip versus River Sang Wild.
And also how you play off the others and stuff, like having multiple guitar players, that's a big change too, where we're used to the same thing, a trio as the previous band. So it's kind of like brand new.
Yeah. And that's got to be a big release for you guys. I know a lot of musicians that I talk to, they like to have their band, and then they like to have another project, like something different, something, either a solo project or something, drastically different that they can release another part of themselves on. So you guys get to do that. Any thoughts on that with you guys, Liv or Jordan or Sam?
Yes. I in my free time I have a cat named Sassy, and I'm being serious. And I like to just sing Iron Maiden songs with Sassy.
Oh, yes.
It lets me unwind,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and like Jordan and I, so I have a younger brother that's actually really into rap, and he's got a really good singing voice, but he doesn't really let on to anyone about that. But we've been kind of starting up something with him that's really fun, and it's cool to start to do stuff with a sibling and my brother, and like very kind of like they have with River Sang Wild. It's very different from a 5-piece rock band, so it's cool to be able to explore other avenues and do other things that are different.
Yeah, and I think it can help you musically in all your projects. To have that diverse, if you were to bring in some of that in some way, be it a lick or some lyric or something, it makes it pretty interesting, definitely. Yeah. What's next? We got a six song EP coming out
May 21st.
All right, and that's coming really soon. That's wow. Is it part of, do you have stuff on the cutting room floor? Is there other stuff waiting to be released? What can we expect from Feverslip in the future?
Boy, there's always stuff on the cutting room floor. I feel like when you have 5 people coming in with sometimes very different ideas, we're all in the same rock wheelhouse, but sometimes. So there's always stuff on the cutting room floor, but it's something that as soon as we get this out, we're always writing. We're always looking ahead.
Back to the studio.
Yeah. You got to start looking at stuff like that, because if you don't, it's really easy to kind of get behind and it's kind of lose the steam of the train that's already going.
I think like Brad said too, almost up until right about this point, we had been working on ideas that were already there before this new rhythm section came in. So we were kind of finishing up older songs, tightening them up, changing them a little bit. So we're kind of just hitting that point with the 5 of us where we're writing brand new material and trying to build up that writing chemistry from the ground up with this group. So I'm excited to see what's to come.
Yeah, we're getting true Feverslip now.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
No remnants. What was that, Sam?
I hope it's good.
Yeah, me too. Hey, I love what you got right now. It's fantastic, and I'm sure it will be. I'm really looking forward to what you guys have now. The logistics of taking this show on the road is difficult at best. Have you thought about that? When it's released, playing shows. I know you guys play all over the clubs up there. I'm in Chicago. Am I ever going to see Feverslip?
You say that there is some things in the works to hopefully see you sooner than later.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Yeah, I would love to see that.
Well, hey, as soon as we got anything locked down, you'll be the first to know.
Oh yeah, we'll let you know.
That's the dream. As soon as we can go, we're all chomping at the bit. So it's we're always looking at so.
Yeah, and I know how difficult that is. Unless you're some major band on some major label that's paying for all of it, it's a difficult process, especially for a 5-piece. So yeah, that is great news for sure. And I think I asked you about last time about a possible, if it would help to a relocation, to the LA thing, where it's a little easier to get a bigger following. Not that Maine and the New England area isn't, a good area, But you know, it's not LA.
It's really not. Yeah.
It's a lot harder to every night go to some different club and rock it up, but we've definitely developed a good group of people that like to come see us, and we're still gaining new fans, which is awesome. And when the time is right, I think we probably will migrate to where it's going. So
wherever that is.
I think it would be nice too to try to like maybe stretch our legs by getting out to some other studios, maybe go record in Nashville, maybe go record something in LA, maybe just try to reach roots out to different areas.
Chicago is out. Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
Absolutely. You let me know.
I have to call Johnny K again. Johnny, I'm coming for you.
There you go. And Mark Nawara at Pavement Records out here, they just put out the Plush album. Which I love. Those girls are just the greatest people too.
It's funny, the guitar player is from the same town that I lived in Maine.
Yes, so, Bella. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Johnny K did that one. It's just it's happening here. It's not LA either. It's pretty cool. We'd love to have you here. It would be great for sure. Yeah.
I don't know if I can get on board with the Bears though. So
yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Bear guy. I don't know what he's talking about.
What was that, Harrison?
Oh, nothing.
You're better off that way. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out. Let me know what's going on, and I will get the word out for you guys. And I look forward to everybody hearing this 6-song EP.
Thank
you.
And more material. It's exciting to have Feverslip for sure.
Believe me, on the other side of it, seeing how it's become, it's about time that we,
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I will talk to you soon. Keep me informed.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Will do.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Scott.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.